Hello, everybody. Welcome to another speedrun episode against Jerry. Rated 1335. Let's see if we can get a Stonewall set up. I don't think we've gotten even a single Budapest. Or maybe we've gotten one, but I don't even remember it. It was so they try to stop us from getting our setup. And so the game's going to take a different turn. If they take us, we'll take with the pawn. Adds a little different flavor, but they don't take us. They just defend their bishop. Fine. We're going to just develop and center because we can't really do our Stonewall setup once they take our bishop like this, especially once they play g6. All of our attacking ideas with this bishop disappear, and then you just kind of have light square holes. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to castle and do a normal setup and just play from here. f6, prepare z5. Makes some sense. But before they do that, let's attack their center with our own pawn duo. We did start the game with d4, so the pawn duo would be d4, c4, since e4 is not available. So now we're just playing like a traditional queen's pawn opening. I mean, black did some weird stuff with f6. And now if he takes, we have to take with the queen, of course. So you're not going to get your Stonewall just because you want it. It's not like the London. It's way more situational, where it depends. The London you can kind of just do against whatever. But the Stonewall, it depends because you're playing more crazy with f4. Okay, he takes, we take. Even trade. He takes, we take because our queen's under attack, might as well. Materials even. We have a better center, but they can contest it. So now they bring the knight out. What's the threat? Again, it supports e5, but that's about it. Let's develop a piece. And we just have a solid position. We have to see what happens. I didn't consider quickly enough. If we consider, like if you can kick a knight from the center, we should consider it. Here, it would mess up his pawns. So we should have considered it last turn. But I developed my knight, which is an excellent move regardless. Now if we kick it, he doesn't address it. He castles into it. Kind of weird. If he attacks our queen, the knight's loose. If we attack the knight, he defends it. He weakens his king a lot. But I kind of want to get my pieces in position before I do any of that. Even if I lose the chance to kick it in the future, I mean, I'm okay with that. So let's go b4 instead of d5. And we could always go b5 and kick the knight. And that maintains our pawn structure in the center. Also gets a pawn storm rolling, frees up our bishop. And since he didn't move this pawn, we were just in time to get it off without sacking it. So now he moves the pawn. Now he is threatening it. But now we're also ready to push it. And when he hits our queen, I mean, we can drop, well, not there. We can drop back to like e2. Then go a4. It's possible. But I'm actually going to go rook b1. Because I don't want to give him this hole yet. Like, I don't want to create a hole and let his knight sit there until my bishop's ready to kick it out or something. In the meantime, I can get my rook in position, get ready to blast through further. So he develops the bishop. What's the threat? no threat, just a developing move. But it is susceptible to this. It doesn't create a double threat. We could push the pawn while we have the chance. I think I'm going to do that. Just continue on my kingside attack. While he hasn't even started his pawn storm, we're pretty far advanced, I would say. I don't even think it's close, right? He would need 2 moves to reach the 5th, and like us, but he's not going to get 2 moves. So now that this square is covered, maybe now we can push d5. Then his knight can go to the center, but it's not defending his king. Okay, now he creates a hook, which has to be bad for him. In our last game, I think we saw a hook that didn't, really help our attack. Here you would want to automatically play b5, but he does have a counterattacking move, which is annoying. So let's just say we move our queen, maintain the diagonal. We're still ready to rip open his king side, and if he takes, that's terrible for him. So this move just wins on the spot. Again, because he created a hook. 2 points of contact is exactly what your opponent wants. Exactly what you don't want to give him is 2 points of contact. He just takes, which is crazy. So let's dislodge the knight. We now have an open A file to checkmate him on, which is great. And if he hits our queen, we have a new square newly opened because he traded first instead of hitting our queen first. Instead of sending our queen back to E2, now we have a much better square. And his knight's hanging. So he protects the knight. I don't believe in this construction, I'll tell you that much. So we have options. They're kind of slow, unfortunately, but we don't have a choice. It's still great for us either way. I just like 1, 2, 3 knockout effects, but so some ideas are get the rook here and sacrifice it for the knight, but that takes setup and I get slow. We could try to get our knight in here. Again, take setup, and if they start trading, we have to then switch to a different plan. Bishop here, just getting it active, trading, connecting the rooks, makes some sense. Bishop here, try to trade for the knight, makes some sense. We can kind of do whatever we want. I'm going to go for this bishop hit the knight diagonal so that it threatens material, threatens infiltration. But the knight's in the way. The knight can hit the bishop and get out of the way. So let's do that before he plays a move like f5 and prevents us from putting our knight on a nice square like this. So let's say we did bishop d2 first, then they play f5. Now we have to move our knight to a different square that doesn't attack the bishop when we do this. Here, if he plays f5, we can at least take the bishop, then we'll go here. And there's no attack even started on our king, right? You see the discrepancy? So that's the thing. When it's opposite side castling, got to be quick. And they're not being quick. They're moving their rook. God knows why. Kind of crazy if you ask me. But I'm going to develop, connect my rooks, and for free. Because takes is a mate in 1 threat. I haven't seen a safer king than ours. And he moves his king. Oh, he moved his rook to move his king to run. Wow. Okay, I'm still going to grab the material, though. I'm still going to infiltrate with my queen, and he can run. And he does. I'm going to snap that bishop off the board because it's quick, it's fast, long range teleportation. Got to get rid of it. And his knight can't move, which is nice. Takes with the queen, which leaves this pawn isolated. Isolated means weak. It's already attacked once. Let's get our last piece in the game for free and attack it twice. Our position is extremely strong and harmonious, and black is getting crushed even though they're down a pawn. So they defend it. But the rook is not protected. So we have moves like rook in, which seem quite annoying. We also have potential pushing because they can't take. So if we push and they push and we push, that's funny. We can also hit the queen and then push so they can't push, which is strong. So if we hit the queen cannot use this diagonal, which is nice. Actually can't use this diagonal, so it has to go back. Ooh, that's good. It does have one forward square. Do I buy it? We can always just shift it down. But okay, so he goes back. Fine. Now, if we did triple, his only way to defend would be this back. But then his rooks will never be connected, and he's kind of stuck. So let's do that. Let's pile up on the target, the isolated pawn. He does move his queen back, but I also don't believe in this. We do have a knight we could try to get in, but I'm just going to leave it here because it doesn't have like an easy circuit that, you know, it's too slow. So we need to find a way to use our B pawn as the attacker to engineer a way to push. So if we push, they can't take our rook because it's protected. If they ignore us, well, then we can take here, we can push, it's bad. So if they take our pawn, we take back with check. They can't block with anything. And if they move their king, they hang a rook. So now we've just pushed b6 as a fourth unit to attack with. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of our units are precision targeting the c7 square. Surgical strike. He's trying to defend that same point, this little huddle. But you don't want your king to be a defender. You also don't want your queen to be a defender. But specifically the king. And he has 8 points of material that will never even get in the game. He'll just lose without having touched it. It's like going to war but then leaving some of your soldiers back in the cafeteria, right? It's probably not a good strategy. And they don't have a good move. I mean, maybe they try to develop now. Then we could just take the rook. You could probably also just push. And probably other moves work, but you got to calculate them, and I'm just going to take with the rook. So this knight, I mean, like if it had this square available, I would immediately jump to it, but it doesn't. I was looking for ways to push the pawns maybe and sack, but it's kind of slow compared to just piling up on this point with everything we got. I guess we can go through the game just in case Jerry's trolling us. So we have development in center. Okay, as soon as I do that, Jerry moves. Jerry moves the queen and threatens our queen. But, I mean, you can obviously just take the queen and you're winning. But let's give this check. We're also winning. If he takes here, we could take with the queen. If he moves his king, let's see where he moves it. Now we're up 2 pawns with dominating rooks. So you could trade queens and just convert that way. I wonder if he goes forward. Of course, they always go forward. They always go forward, don't they? They never learn. So how do we punish them? Again, this move would be great, but not accessible. One of our rooks here, maybe? Wait. Oh, the queen is almost trapped, but not quite. Actually, maybe this one. So we have access to checks all of a sudden. And their back rank is stable. So let's go here. Avoid the trade for free. Open up some air towards his king to try to punish him for moving forward. Also, it's just a really annoying move because your queen only has so many squares. And is it clear which one it belongs on? I don't think so. I mean, B3 is the most forward available square, but it's also in the lion's den, so it's hard to say. But maybe. Maybe you just gotta hope I blunder back rank. But instead they choose a retreating square, which does not cover all the checks like Beast 3 does. So now, if I did give this check, well, let's find out. I'll give it. Well, let's see where they go with their king. At some point, I got to get my knight in, right? Even if I just sack the pawn to create a nice square. Yeah, so maybe d5 because it's forcing, and it sacks a pawn. So he moves his king to the right. Fine. So now d5. They still can't develop their knight except here. Let's go d5 just to free our knight to a beautiful central square. And again, another clearance idea. People rarely consider sacrificing pawns just to give their piece a square, right? Like, when was the last time you did that in your game? So think about it. Also, giving up your rook, sacking in exchange for a bishop. When was the last time you gave up your rook for a bishop? And I don't mean in an obviously winning endgame like I do. But even then, right? Okay, so he takes the pawn, which we don't care about. Now we have some more room for our pieces. Let's put the knight here. It has some devastating possibilities. And now we can put the rook here and here. We have diagonals towards this king. So we were up 2 pawns. We gave back 1 pawn to increase the value of our knight by at least +1. Because when it was here, it was dominated. It's not living up to its full potential. Now it's a fully activated knight. It's worth way more than before. And it's going to cause black way more than 1 pawn's worth of practical problems. Now that we add it to the attack, now that he has to watch for the coordination between the knight too. You see, he moves his king, but that gives us instant access into his base, right? So we don't need to waste time shifting. So, I mean, let's do it. Okay, he finally develops the knight, even though it's pinned. We have access to this square. Not sure exactly what that does. He'll want to connect to the knight, so he'll have to choose one of these. So let's say we go here and he goes here. That hangs material. I mean, this has to just collapse. So now that our queen's in his face, you see how his pawns are forward and we're behind the pawns? That's not going to protect him. It's like, you know, the pawns are your hands in boxing. You want to keep them close to your face for protection. Every time you punch or extend your pawn, you can easily get knocked out. So that's what's about to happen here. And this pawn, we're never going to get a queen, but it acts as like a barrier. And now his pieces can't access the same stuff as if that pawn wasn't there. They can easily defend. But now with the pawn, it's just a wall in their way. So the king is very lonely. And Jerry is dumbfounded. If he does, okay, so he goes here so that this doesn't come with check. But this threatens mate in 1. Although they could then take the pawn. So, I mean, we could just take this and hit the rook. If we do hit the rook, they're going to go here probably. Hitting our queen. And that's kind of lame. Don't we have a cool finish here? Something. I mean, we could snake our rook in. Like this. Because he's stuck. He can't move anything. And then we could take another turn and go like here. Is that hilarious or what? So if we go here and he makes a random move, and we go here, and he takes this pawn, yeah, that actually doesn't do what I want. Maybe we could then jump the knight in. There's no reason for that. Let me just take this and hit his rook. It's easier. Yeah, he goes there. There's no point going here unless you want to go pawn grabbing, which I don't. So I want to keep the knight pinned. So here, so probably here. That way I can get my knight in like this. Because if I put my queen here, my knight only has this square, but then the pawn hangs. So I want to try to do this type of thing. I guess there's also this square. So here is crazy. Yeah, so maybe we should have gone here after all with our queen. Because we have a better idea with the knight. And the queen doesn't subject herself to this once the knight moves, although this comes with check. So I guess it doesn't matter. Also an extra layer of protection in case we want to do some funny ideas. So he moves the king, which seems insane. We can go for this plan. We can give the check first, and if they try to go this way, let's give the check and force them back, because otherwise the knight hangs. We say, no, you go back in your cage, rat. And then we could do this with the knight. Oh, or he just hangs the knight. That works. Now on blocks, now we have good squares for our knight. He has to stay touching the rook, so this. Okay. Can we sack our queen? And then if he takes, we get another queen. And if he brings the rook back, we just take the rook. Okay, let's sacrifice our queen. Because the king can't run. So he has to accept it, which is funny. I like this stuff. Chess has so many cool parts. Now, only if there were sound effects. So they take and we get a queen. And now it's just mate. Forced mate. So you see how everything did its job. Well protected, they never even had a chance. Everything's just lasered off. Okay, so now let's go through the game like we tried to earlier. So we go for the stone wall, but once they put their bishop opposite yours, you're going to get something else. And you could play it any number of ways as white, like 10 different ways, really. So we just develop in center. Okay, 97%, no mistakes. Look at that graph, perfect. So kind of a perfect game by us. Very smooth, follows all the principles, no theory whatsoever. I never even played d4, and now I'm winging it based on principles. King safety and development. Center, development. Force move, force move. Development and center. Says it's +2 already and higher. So we're not even up a pawn. But our development, having this knight here instead of f6 and being castled already and having a pawn presence in the center, the better queen, it says it's +2, which is huge, a huge evaluation. Now I could see some of that evaluation slipping away because we're not going to play like engines, but it didn't for us. But I mean, I could see how you might not manifest +2 anytime soon. But it's also hard to collapse your position because of how solid it is. Okay, he castles, and d5 is a move. Second best at 2.1. First best at 2.2 is b4. Was I right or was I right? I love getting these little things right. It makes me feel like I actually know something about chess even though I don't. But it feels good. So we play b4. And okay, you could play b5 as the best move. You see, they don't care. When they hit the queen, oh wait, queen a4, which is where we went, but what am I thinking about? Why was I saying queen e2 if queen a4 was available? Weird. I don't know. I thought a pawn was there because in my mind I had already played this. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway, we just develop and proceed with our plan, which is to steamroll on his king. Okay, improve our position kind of for free. You can always play b5, probably always the best move. You just got to be sure about it. The second he gives us a hook, it's clearly the best move at +4. We launch it, which we were going to do anyway, with the a4 support and the rook support, because we maximize his strength. And here he should have tried knight a5. Now it's +4, so he's totally crushed. Okay, so here is where I was thinking queen e2 or something like that, because there's no a4. Yeah, but he trades, and now it's available. So now I go to the obvious best square for free. Improving a piece for free. Improving a piece for free. Or developing for free here. Free stuff. Free stuff. Free stuff, because Trader wins. Improving a piece for free. 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 Free stuff for free. +6. Improving a piece for free. Improving a piece for free. Improving a piece for free because it's forcing. He can't ignore this because we'll just take. Improving a piece for free because the threats really are deadly at +8. Improving a piece for free. So lots of free stuff. You see it in a row here, like past 8 moves, right? Improving for free. Free stuff for free. Force move. improving for free at plus 16. He's supposed to go back, but he hangs the knight. So free stuff, improve for free, free, mate in 1. Super smooth game. You can see the course it took, development center, and then eventually opposite side castle pawn storm. So you could follow the flow and try it in your own games. Submit your happy games in my Discord. Good luck and goodbye.